To the victor go the spoils. It's a phrase Matt Fitzpatrick is living out in real time just hours after his life changed forever when he became the U.S. Open champion.
Smiles, everyone. Y'all look fantastic. I love it.
We're back on Get Up. I'm not sure how you spent your Sunday, but I can tell you how I spent mine. I was glued to the television watching that man, Matthew Fitzpatrick.
A dream day in New York capping off a whirlwind week for the Englishman.
Have you had anybody reach out to you and say congratulations that you didn't expect?
Michael Jordan did text me just saying well done, so that was unreal. Yeah.
Wow.
Who etched his name in the annals of golf history at one of the game's most historic venues.
It's stuff you dream of as a kid, and yeah, to achieve it, I can retire a happy man tomorrow. So.
This is the story of the 2022 U.S. Open Championship. The king of the country club. For the first time in 34 years, the U.S. Open returns to the country club in Brookline, Massachusetts. As the field of 156 arrives, Jon Rahm continues a sacred rite of passage, one reserved exclusively for the defending champion.
So this is the question, not posting this out there. Had I taken off with the trophy and never come back, am I the champion forever? Do I just leave it here? How you doing? All good?
Thanks for returning that. Yes.
I mean, I was forced to, so. Get the chance to come to a very, what you would call, traditional U.S. Open site, right? I mean, but the history in a golf course like this, and then you come in here with the traditional lockers, which who knows how old they are. Just a very, very, very tough test. So we're excited, you know, weather looks great. I've heard the course is in amazing condition, so excited because I brought the trophy and hopefully I get to take it home.
Once before, the venerable country club was the scene of the Open in 1913. Francis Ouimet, an almost unknown 20-year-old Boston amateur who had caddied at the country club, fired the shots heard round the world.
He's got to get up just a little bit, and did.
All right. Wow, what a shot.
I'm a big believer in fate. I have a good feeling about this. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Leonard can somehow win this hole and matches are over.
This looks good.
The history the defending champion speaks of is everywhere here. On the walls, in the picture frames, and as the world's best gather for their annual pre-championship press conferences, it's being retold on the microphones in the interview area.
That is what's so good about golf, is the history and the tradition and these stories. You know, the fact that he grew up just off the 17th hole here, and we're still talking about it to this day, over 100 years on.
We are so excited to be here. This club was one of the 5 founding clubs of the USGA. It's conducted 17 USGA championships, the second most of all clubs.
The ghosts of the past matter. You can't buy history. You can only earn it, and the country club has it. And as Mr. Ouimet said, the property around here is hallowed. The grass grows a little bit greener, the trees bloom a little bit better, and there's even warmth in the rocks that you see around here.
One player in this year's field holds a similar affinity for the country club, Matt Fitzpatrick.
Hey Matt, thanks for coming back.
No, thank you.
After all, the last time the USGA held a championship here, it was Fitzpatrick leaving with the hardware.
This US Open's obviously different for obvious reasons for me, just because of winning the US Amateur here and just having such an amazing experience last time.
I felt like I had probably more media than normal to do a tournament, given my history there and the US Amateur. I wouldn't even say I felt like extra pressure because of it. It almost felt the opposite. I felt relaxed because I knew how to play the course so well. Obviously, I had, great result there before. I just felt really, really comfortable and at ease the whole week being there, really.
While there are feel-good stories like Fitzpatrick's getting a lot of attention early in the week, there are others highlighting the game's changing landscape happening right alongside them.
Good to see you, man.
If a segment of your fan base decided to walk away from you and not support you anymore, would you respect and understand that decision?
I respect and I understand their opinions. They have strong feelings and strong emotions regarding this choice, and I respect that.
It's obviously the talk of the tour at the minute, who's going and who's not going, and it's an interesting time, and you know, obviously sort of things are being shaken up a little bit.
Some of the people that are leaving, and if more go, it's just sad. I mean, it's really no other way to say it. It just makes me sad.
We did sit down and have a long conversation about a week before the US Open, did where somebody else play disqualify them for this event. We decided no on that with all the awareness that not everybody would agree with that decision.
Before play begins, the USGA puts the finishing touches on their championship preparation, finalizing the groupings for the first 2 rounds.
We've got our traditional group here, Morikawa, Hyatt, and John Rahm. Get them in there.
Okay.
And I like this young guns group we came up with Joaquin Neiman, Cameron Young, and Will Zalatoris.
Will definitely be one to watch.
Absolutely. How did this work out for us? I mean, this was on a platter. Michael Thorbjornsen, our 2018 Junior Amateur champ, right down the road, Wellesley, Mass. We'll let him get the party started.
That's right, defending Mass Am champion, too.
There you go.
Round 1 of the 122nd U.S. Open begins with a subtle yet symbolic nod to the country club's rich history.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 1 of the 122nd U.S. Open Championship. Please welcome from Wellesley, Mass, Michael Thorbjornsen.
So Michael Thorbjornsen, the 20-year-old from just about 9 miles west of the country club. Reigning Massachusetts State Amateur, same as Francis we met back in 1913, so trying to use a little of that energy here.
"30 minutes after Michael Thorbjornsen strikes the opening tee shot, the man who arrived at the country club with the U.S. Open trophy in his hands begins his quest to take it back. On the first hole, John Rahm's approach from 158 yards covers the flag.
There you go. Not a bad way to start.
Beautiful.
Fairway, 9-iron, within 15 feet.
But he misses the makeable birdie putt. And an even shorter one at the difficult par 4 fourth hole. He responds with an up and down for birdie at the drivable par 4 fifth.
Well done.
And picks up another birdie at the par 3 sixth.
I'm impressed with that. Making 2 on 6, that was the 2 of the day for me. That was a shot of the day.
He begins his championship defense with a 1-under 69. One of Rahm's fellow competitors, reigning Open champion Collin Morikawa, has always been highly regarded for his precise ball striking. But early in round 1, he surges to the top of the leaderboard on the strength of his short game. He makes an unlikely birdie at the par 3 second.
There's a nice bonus.
Then, out of position at the 4th, he displays a deft touch to save par from a greenside bunker.
Oh, that is fantastic, Trev.
Isn't it just? Huge swing, face wide open on the backswing.
1 hole later, he scrambles from the sand yet again, this time for birdie. He punctuates his solid start with another birdie at the par 4 ninth.
Perfect. Putt that he could be aggressive with. Boy, you've got to take advantage of those putts.
He goes out in 32 and holds the early lead at 3 under. Round one did not begin as auspiciously for Will Zalatoris, whose opening tee shot finds the grandstands to the right of the first hole.
Oh, ouch.
But he finishes the day 1 under par. Rory McIlroy, considered by many the pre-championship favorite, starts his round on the back nine with 6 consecutive pars. But on the par 3 16th, he makes his first birdie.
McIlroy hurls one in to get into red figures.
And follows it with another at the 18th.
Oh, yeah. Perfectly judged with the second.
He makes the turn in 2 under, but his round nearly comes undone at the 5th.
Yikes, Rory 5. Second shot at the par 4.
Anything on the green from here would be really good.
Bunker.
That's just darn near impossible to figure out how that ball's going to come out.
His third shot from a more conventional lie races by the hole. In danger of making a bogey at the drivable par 4, McIlroy responds.
That's a massive putt for Rory McIlroy. The frustration of the bad lie to make par, well done.
He finished the day with a 3 under 67 to hold a share of the lead midway through the first round of the 122nd U.S. Open Championship.
He's the co-leader at the moment. We'll see how that holds up through the afternoon wave.
Scottie Scheffler didn't sneak up on anyone in this year's U.S. Open. A torrid start to the season with 4 wins and 6 starts, including his first major championship at the Masters, supercharged his newfound celebrity status. Yet for most of round one, the man who ascended from first-time tour winner to world #1 in the span of 42 days suddenly downshifts to an unfamiliar year. Neutral. He makes the turn in even par 35. Back-to-back bogeys then drop him to +2. But he rallies with birdies on his final 2 holes to conclude his round on a positive note. He finishes the day at even par. Like Scheffler, England's Matt Fitzpatrick arrived at the U.S. Open covered in past glory.
Matt Fitzpatrick with a great effort there at the 3rd.
He surges into a share of the lead with 3 birdies on the front 9. He then offsets an early bogey at the shortest hole on the course, the par 3 11th, with a birdie at the most difficult hole on the course, the par 4 12th.
That is a magnificent piece of judgment.
Country club vibes working again, David, for this guy. Oh man, was that unbelievable.
For me, I think the big thing about that moment was that, you know, I showed a lot of emotion. I gave a big fist bump, and I never do that, ever, ever, ever. And I don't know what it was. I don't know, just something about that week that brought it out of me.
He follows that unlikely birdie with another from long range at the 17th.
And Fitzpatrick back to 3 under.
He finishes his first round at 2 under, firmly in the thick of it, as his past success here suggested he would be. As Thursday's marathon day extends into the late afternoon, several unheralded players hover near the lead. Joel Damon leans on his ball striking in round 1. He hits 12 of 14 fairways and 16 of 18 greens and posts 3 under. By day's end, the leaderboard reflects the democratic nature of the U.S. Open. Qualifiers hold 5 of the top 6 spots, highlighted by the outright leader, Canadian Adam Hadwin, who secured his entry into the field as an alternate once Paul Casey withdrew a week before the championship. Hadwin had played his previous 13 rounds on the PGA Tour in 56 over par, but he finds his form on Thursday.
All right, Adam Hadwin with a 4 under 66. Adam, can you talk us through your round today?
Not much better of a start to a U.S. Open. I don't think that you can ask for. I've been around the block a few times, and You know, I've missed cuts from this position before, so we'll try again tomorrow.
Thanks, Adam. Nice playing.
All right, thank you.
As the 122nd U.S. Open continues, Canadian Adam Hadwin carries a one-shot lead into round 2. But on Friday, he couldn't find the form that led him to the top of the leaderboard a day earlier. On the par 3 11th, he misjudges the speed of his birdie putt. And then misses the comebacker for par.
And that's a 3-putt.
Hadwin needed just 26 putts on Thursday, but takes 22 through his first 12 holes on Friday. He fires a 72 and falls back to 2 under overall. Meanwhile, Scottie Scheffler surges up the leaderboard with the biggest fireworks coming at the par 5 14th.
Masters champ lost his second to the left. And out of the rough, well judged, and in!
2 holes later, he birdies the par 3 16th.
Scottie Scheffler.
With a second 9 of 31, Scheffler finishes Friday 3 under overall, squarely in contention and in position to become the only player other than Tiger Woods to win the U.S. Open while ranked world #1 since the official World Golf Rankings began. While Scheffler makes his move, Matt Fitzpatrick simply hangs on.
Oh, that's trouble to trouble there.
He endures a stretch of 3 consecutive bogeys midway through his second 9.
It's the kind of putt, Noda, where you just hope to get it somewhere in the friend zone.
And on the drivable par 4 5th, a bad bounce negates a potential eagle putt.
Oh, man.
Man, a straight bounce there would have been perfect.
But Fitzpatrick withstands the storm. An up and down on 5 and a 2-putt birdie at 8 put him back where he began, at 2 under par. He stands 1 shot in front of Will Zalatoris. He birdies the par 4 third and finishes 1 under overall after a round of even par 70. Jon Rahm and Collin Morikawa continued to draft off each other in round 2. At the par 4 12th, Rahm plays his second from 145.
Yeah. Aggressive shot, great shot.
Moments later, Morikawa matches Rahm's birdie with one of his own.
And that's the first birdie of the day for Collin Morikawa.
On the par 5 14th, after a 360-yard drive, Rahm muscles a 4-iron from 268 yards uphill to the green.
It's
beautiful.
terrific.
Beautiful shot. Inside of 15 feet.
Morikawa pitched his third from short of the green, then makes the birdie putt and gives Rahm a read in the process. Rahm then with a huge eagle putt.
Eagle 3.
While he and Morikawa push each other forward, Rory McIlroy courts disaster at the par 4 third.
Oh, no.
This is disaster waiting to happen. This is a situation right now that he's got to really be cognizant of, can take him out of the championship.
Mercifully, McIlroy extricates his ball from the thickest rough on the golf course on his third attempt. He then faces this lengthy putt for double bogey.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Remember that moment.
McIlroy falls back to 1 under, but he persists with a birdie at the par 4 5th, where he plays a deft chip to set up an easy birdie. Birdies on 3 of his final 7 holes propel McIlroy back into contention. With a closing par save at the 18th, he shoots 69 to post 4 under. On this day, McIlroy averts disaster. He simply survives, and that is enough. He enters the weekend in a tie with Rahm, who shoots 67 and also finishes at 4 under for the championship. His fellow competitor betters him by a single shot on Friday, Morikawa caps a 4-under 66 with this up and down for par at the 9th. This is the first time that Morikawa, already a two-time major champion, holds at least a share of the lead entering the weekend of a major. He shares the top spot with Joel Damon, who holds this lengthy birdie putt at 13 to get to 5 under.
Start of the day, -3. I hadn't. Yeah.
Damon missed the cut in each of his 2 previous U.S. Open starts, and he diffuses the increased attention with his customary sense of humor.
Joel, tied for the lead heading into the weekend at the U.S. Open. What's running through your mind?
We told you up till 3:45 tomorrow. I typically have to be home by 5 o'clock for dinner, so this will be different for sure.
With cooler temperatures and a persistent northwest wind that the players haven't faced all week, round 3 of the 122nd U.S. Open is proving to be the most challenging of the championship.
It was kind of the weather that I wanted. It was tough, it was cold, it was windy. I felt like that definitely played into my favor a little bit, that I'm used to being in the wind. I'm a decent player in the wind.
This is the 11:55 tee time.
Will Zalatoris navigates the country club cautiously. He doesn't aim at a single hole location all day, but he leads the field in strokes gained putting.
Did he? Yes, he did. So here comes Will Zalatoris.
He makes his move with 3 birdies on the opening 9 and climbs within 2 of the lead.
Zalatoris on a run.
At the par 4 10th, he uncharacteristically fans his approach.
He shanked it. He shanked it. One of the best ball strikers on the PGA Tour.
But he plays a miraculous pitch to save par.
That is unbelievable.
That's a way to recover. That's how you do it.
Like Zalatoris, world number 1 Scottie Scheffler makes his run early with birdies on 2 of his first 3 holes.
He's posing. And why not? Beautiful shot.
And then at the par 5-8.
Probably the most dangerous shot on the front 9.
Got to make sure you carry it far enough. And he did. And he did. I guess he did. Oh, man. Scottie Scheffler, another hole-out eagle. He did it yesterday at the 14th.
With his stunning eagle, Scheffler has now played his last 19 holes in 8 under. His hole out vaults him to -6, 2 shots clear of the field. In the same fairway, 36-hole co-leader Joel Damon's 3rd shot yields a much different result.
We've seen this before.
That's what makes the shot so scary. It is a severe punishment.
After making just 4 bogeys in rounds 1 and 2 combined, he dropped shots on 4 of his first 8 holes on Saturday.
No, that's always left.
Colin Morikawa, who shared the 36-hole lead with Damon, also falters.
92 coming in downwind. He hit it fat and landed way short.
Oh, man.
Hit it fat.
Ooh. Wow,
Don't see that very often.
What is going on?
He shoots 77, the highest score of his major championship career. Rory McIlroy would call Saturday's conditions some of the most difficult he's ever faced. He bogeys 3 of his first 6 holes. But 8 one-putts in a 9-hole stretch keep him in the mix. Through 2 rounds, Scottie Scheffler had played the country club's back 9 better than anyone in the field, but not on Saturday.
Oh, no. Wow.
He makes a costly mistake at the 11th, the shortest hole on the course.
And that was always going to be the fear.
His disastrous double bogey drops him back into a tie for the lead.
The whole complexion of this event has just changed.
He follows that miscue with 3 consecutive bogeys and plummets to 1 under.
He must have just lost his concentration somewhere along the line. Something happened here. And of course, now he's shell-shocked.
Meanwhile, Zalatoris continues his climb up the leaderboard. At the par 4 15th, this precise approach leads to birdie.
And that is as good as we've seen here all day.
And at the 18th, he makes a nervy par from the greenside bunker.
That is a gutsy effort, Aaron.
His third round 67, the low round of the day, propels him to 4 under and makes him the early leader in the clubhouse.
What a day for Will Zalatoris.
New England native Keegan Bradley also rallies on Saturday. 2 over par through 6 holes. He makes 5 birdies coming in and finishes at 2 under.
Big Red Sox fan throughout the opening pitch the other night, and this birdie makes him 2 under par.
On the final hole, the Boston crowd shower Bradley with applause. The reception calls to mind the support that local caddy Francis Ouimet received in 1913 when he prevailed in the Open at the Country Club.
Honestly, it was one of the most amazing moments of my entire life. I felt like a Boston player there, and I appreciate the fans giving me that.
The final hour of play provides a preview of the dramatic finish that would unfold on Sunday. At the 17th, Matt Fitzpatrick cuts the corner of the 379-yard dogleg par 4.
It was one of those that I felt like where the pin was, it was a good opportunity to hit driver, get close, and have a chip up the green if I obviously put it in position. And unfortunately, I hit a great drive and did exactly that.
Can he drive it in low? Get it up onto the upper level? Yes, he can.
He converts the birdie putt and takes the outright lead at 5 under.
There it is. So the young Englishman with a history here at the Country Club. 3 birdies in his last 4 holes.
But a wayward drive at 18, his second errant tee shot in 3 rounds on the home hole, leads to bogey. He finishes at 4 under and shares the lead with Will Zalatoris. At a standstill for much of the day, defending champion Jon Rahm makes his first birdie in 7 holes at the par 5 14. 1 hole later, he grabs a share of the lead with a lengthy birdie putt at 15. Ahead of Rahm, Scheffler plays this deft pitch from short of the par 4 17. He then made the putt for birdie. At the 18th, he faces this 15-footer for par.
Big save, and he knows it.
For Scheffler, it was a tale of 2 nines. 32 going out, 39 coming in. He finishes Saturday 2 under for the championship.
Trying to do the Masters US Open double. It's a very short list. Jordan Spieth last to do it, and Scotty Scheffler tries to join that list tomorrow.
Moments after Scheffler holes out, Rahm plays this approach from a tight lie to the 17th hole.
Oh, yes. Spun it beautifully.
He then converts the short birdie putt.
And there's your new leader, Jon Rahm.
But his lead is short-lived. Rahm's tee shot at the 18th comes to rest near the lip of a fairway bunker.
Oh, come off of that hill, and he may be able to launch one.
Into a stiff wind, he plays his second from 135.
Oh, last thing you wanted to do.
Maybe I was trying to get too cute, making sure, looking for another birdie, where I could have just, hit a 9-iron and hope he gets over the bunker and, see what happens. But it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's just I think I got a little bit too cute with the shot.
Rahm's third then balloons into the wind.
It's climbing. Wind's got it, though.
Oh, no, that could bury. Right into the wind.
Oh, and it does.
It is a fried egg, so wow, what a turn of events.
He closes his day with a double bogey to relinquish his lead and punctuate a tumultuous finish to a difficult third round.
What a time to make your first double bogey of the week after you ride that crest of 3 birdies in a span of 4 holes.
Well, it just lets you know how hard it's going to be for somebody to pull this thing off tomorrow.
Matt Fitzpatrick and Will Zalatoris enter the final round of the 122nd U.S. Open, tied for the lead. It marks the first time since 1994 that the final group includes 2 players who have never won on the PGA Tour. 2 groups ahead of them, Scottie Scheffler gets off to a red-hot start for the 2nd day in a row.
No problem.
How about that? Chance for birdie from the divot. Yes, sir. What a start.
Start for Scheffler.
How do you like that?
Scheffler can go birdie to start. Another one for Scheffler.
With birdies on his opening 2 holes, the world #1 grabs a share of the lead before the final group even tees off. In pursuit of his first major, Will Zalatoris struggles early.
And he's still not in.
Bogeys on 2 of his first 3 holes leave him 4 shots behind Scheffler.
Wow.
Who continues his surge to the top of the leaderboard.
Just buries it.
With a birdie at the 4th. And another at the 6th.
It's a race to see who can get the most comfortable first, and right now Scottie Scheffler's winning the race 4 under through 6 holes. We haven't seen anything like that this week.
1 month earlier, Matt Fitzpatrick struggled in the final group of the PGA Championship, but he vowed to learn from that experience.
This to tie.
He keeps pace with Scheffler early on with this birdie at the par 4 third. At the 5th, he's the only player on Sunday to drive the reachable par 4.
Look at this
guy has not missed his shot so far.
He capitalizes with a birdie for the 4th consecutive day to tie Scheffler at 6 under. At the par 3 6th, Zalatoris regains his footing with a beautiful tee shot.
That is how you get back on track.
He makes the kick in for birdie. He remains dialed in at the uphill 7th. He plays this second shot from 163 into a stiff right to left wind.
Wow, that's a great effort from Zalatoris. That could have gone in for the same price.
He's going to make that one, David. He's going to make that one.
His sublime stretch continues at the 9th.
Underneath the hole from about 18 feet should go right.
His 3rd birdie in 4 holes moves him within 1 of Fitzpatrick.
Matt Fitzpatrick watching this as he's going the opposite direction and sees it.
And he obviously had his run where he stiffed it on 6, stiffed it on 7, and then birdied 9. All of a sudden it was like, oh, he's back in it. And obviously as he's got his name up there, it was from there I kind of, figured that I need to get my act together, I guess.
As the final round unfolds, several prominent challengers simply cannot mount a charge. For Rory McIlroy, 3 early bogeys negate 3 early birdies. His 8-year odyssey to capture his 5th major title continues. Local favorite Keegan Bradley.
I have to go hard at it, and he did.
Can't overcome a bogey start. John Rahm made a valiant defense of his 2021 U.S. Open victory, but he slumps to a 74 on Sunday.
It's been an honor to be a U.S. Open champion this past year. It's something obviously I'll cherish forever. Be the first Spanish player to win it, and too bad I couldn't get it done again this year. I put myself in a great position yesterday. Didn't finish as good as I could have, and I just didn't have it today.
For the 2nd consecutive day, Scottie Scheffler holds the lead as he begins the back 9. And for the second consecutive day, he stumbles out of the turn.
That was about all the strength he could muster to get that to come out of there.
At the par 4 10th, an errant drive leads to bogey. On the very next hole, he misses his first putt inside 5 feet all week, leading to another bogey.
Well, that's the first, and it came at a horrible time.
Scheffler drops to 4 under, but he doesn't lose any ground to Fitzpatrick, who also bogeys 10 and 11.
He is 3-putted. This is just a tragic error here at 11.
Their miscues open the door for Zalatoris, who makes his 4th birdie in 6 holes at the 11th.
The stroke might look funny sometimes, but the ball sure does roll end over end, doesn't it?
Once 4 back, he now leads by 2 in the final round of the 122nd U.S. Open. The final round of the 2022 U.S. Open was shaping up to be a real battle.
Underneath the hole from about 18 feet should go right.
Oh, good look at Raj. He works it in.
After a torrid stretch of golf that saw him birdie 4 of the previous 6 holes, Will Zalatoris steps to the 12th tee with a 2-shot lead.
Starts it high left, but moving right. It's got a little too much left to right. Oh, wow. Oh.
But miscues off the tee at 12 and 13.
That is way right.
Bring him back down to earth as he stands on the 13th green watching Matt Fitzpatrick's 50-foot birdie attempt.
As a golfer, you have these moments when you get on the green, you see the putt, and the first thing you see, I can see this one clear as day.
Well, here we go, Gary. The importance of a long lag putt. The final round of the U.S. Open.
As soon as I hit that putt, I felt like I knew it was going in.
I'd say that's pretty good. Whoa!
That moment on is really when I felt like I was more than capable of going on to win.
It's just the 7th birdie of the day at the 13th. With it, a potential 2-shot swing hangs in the balance.
How about that?
But Zalatoris salvages par to remain tied with Fitzpatrick, 1 shot ahead of Scheffler. On 15, both leaders find the rough off the tee. It leaves Fitzpatrick with a 5-iron from 230 for his second.
We got down there and I had this perfect lie. And I said to Billy, I said, if this isn't like showing us that this is meant to be, then I don't know what is, because it was the first good lie that we got from a poor shot all year, I felt. I thought we definitely got a break, and obviously you want to take advantage of that.
What a shot. Wow. Very good.
The incredible approach sets him up with a 19-footer for birdie.
He made it. He made it.
Zalatoris goes on to make bogey, which results in the 4th 2-shot swing of the day between the final pairing. Fitzpatrick's lead is now 2 with just 3 holes to play.
And in my mind, I'm thinking if I parred in, I'm not going to lose. You know, worst case scenario is I'll make a playoff if Will birdies 2 of the last 3, but I figured one of them's an opportunity and the other 2 aren't really.
Up ahead, Scheffler plays this wedge approach to the par 4 17.
He's going right at it. Look at this. Oh, and he's played a beauty. Huge putt for Scheffler to get within 1. Got it. Wow. Clutch. Great wedge shot. Great putt.
Just a few moments later, Scheffler at the 18th taps in for par to take the clubhouse lead at 5 under. Trailing by 2 back at 16, Zalatoris plays aggressively and decides to take on the back right hole location.
He went right at it, the maximum carry over that bunker.
Have we seen a better tee shot today, Zing? I can't recall.
He jars the birdie putt and gets within 1. As they head to the 18th tee, Fitzpatrick's lead remains 1. During the first 3 rounds, Fitzpatrick missed this fairway twice. Now, he faces the most consequential tee shot of his life.
Going to that hole with a 1-shot lead, I figured it's a big enough fairway to hit 3-wood in. I was hitting it well all day. I thought it was the right club. Billy thought it was the right club. I was committed to that club, and I just hit a bad shot.
To the left, it's hooking. It's hooking.
Will it stay short?
Oh, right in front of that island rough that's in the middle of that bunker.
What a mistake.
I've since got rid of that 3-wood. It was a real struggle, so I didn't want to see it in the bunker. And when I got up there and it was in the bunker, fortunately it was a good lie. I wasn't dreading it as much as I've probably made out there, but I certainly would have preferred the rough, I think, yeah.
We've got 2 guys in the final pairing who may decide this U.S. Open championship.
He does have a shot. The lie is good, but he's going to have to aim it to the left side of the green and try to cut it.
Pressure shot, 17 out of 18 greens in regulation. He choked way up on this, all ball.
I've said it once, say it a million more times. It was the best shot I've ever hit under the pressure and the circumstances. And as soon as it came out, I knew that I'd got a good strike on it. I knew it was on a good line. I knew the number was right. I knew the club was right. And yeah, fortunately it was.
From the fairway, Zalatoris has to respond.
Full attack now for Zalatoris. And he'll be inside, just inside of Fitzpatrick for his birdie attempt.
A dramatic and riveting day comes down to 2 putts.
Matthew Fitzpatrick can end all the drama right here.
His 2-putt par leaves the door open for Zalatoris.
As soon as I tapped in, I went over to Billy. I said, you know, that's the best round of golf I've ever played, you know, no doubt about it. And then it was kind of a case of just waiting to see, and Billy said to me, don't think you've won it. You've got to expect that he's going to make this. You've got to build yourself up for another few holes in a playoff. And I looked across to my right, and there was a leaderboard, and it said make percentage for Will's putt was 25%. I kind of doubled that because I felt he'd been putting well all day. So I thought literally there's a 50% chance he's going to make this. And the more I've watched it since, the more scared I am every time that it's going to go in.
Are we going to see that 2-hole aggregate playoff?
I can't remember too much about watching the putt miss. I remember it missing. I remember looking at Billy and realizing that that's it. You know, I'd done it.
And Matthew Fitzpatrick is a champion again at the Country Club.
And with that, Matt Fitzpatrick captures his first major championship at the same course where he won the U.S. Amateur 9 years earlier. He joins Jack Nicklaus as the only men to win the U.S. Amateur and U.S. Open at the same venue. He authored another indelible chapter in the Country Club's storied history.
Now, it is my honor to introduce the champion of the 122nd United States Open. With a score of 274, the Jack Nicklaus Gold Medal for the winner of the 122nd U.S. Open goes to Matt Fitzpatrick of England.